What is up, everyone? Honestly, between the course of my last video, not the shorts, but the actual last long form video and my current video, I actually wanted to make more videos, and I won't lie to y'all. I have been depressed. I am very, 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 very depressed. If I could edit my videos, there'll literally be the word "very" just slowly going into the computer. But yeah. Let me go ahead and start this off real quick. How y'all doing? First of all, like y'all doing okay? Everything is kind of holding up a little bit. How y'all feeling right now? Write it down in the comments below. I will react and respond to you. Just try to make that into a thing because this is an interactive channel. And I'm a small YouTuber. By the way, support small YouTubers. If you go into my my community post things. I don't know what they're called, but I'm just gonna say my YouTube community post. I try my best to bring as much attention as I can to other smaller YouTubers because I think that their content is actually pretty good. So there's that. But yeah, I've been very depressed and very down in the dumps lately, and actually the other day kind of didn't help. Also, I've been working a lot. I have been working a lot. It's holiday season, so we do get a lot more hours around this time because it's like I said, it's holiday season, it's shopping season. I work at a mall, yada yada yada. Um, at some point at my job, we if you work in customer service, it you know that sometimes it could be very rewarding, and sometimes it could be very harrowing. Like one of the biggest rewards that I get from like working at my job is that like there's a lot of parents who bring their kids, and their kids. And my whole thing is that like when I'm asking the parent if they need help with anything, I always try to make it a point to sort of like give attention to the kid as well, just let the kid know that they're being seen as well as So I would like get a shirt or whatever that just happened to be like on the racks, and I would just get it, and I'll go to the kid and I'll be like, you think your parent would look good in this? You think your parent would look good in this? And the little kid, I mean, they're just there. They don't care. They're just looking at it like. But the whole idea is that they're not freaking out and they're not screaming or crying or anything like that. Because once again, I wear a mask on my job, so I'm like this the whole time. So if a kid can see me, this big black man in this mask, and not freak out, some of them actually laugh along with me. Some of them joke with me. I've gotten hugs from kids. This is actually the sweetest thing. It's like I get a hug from a kid, and the first thing that goes to my mind is, man, for a moment, I almost wanted kids of my own. And it's like, wait, it's like, no, I don't want kids ever. But yeah, these little angels. But it's like, it's a good feeling because it's like these kids, they don't really know anything about the world. Like they're learning as they go, and they can look at me, never not know who I am, and they can look at me and go, he checks out. It's like if I pass the vibe check with a kid, I feel like the coolest dude on the planet because adults hate everything or adults are willing to hate everything, but kids, it's like that guy checks out. I don't know much about a whole lot, but I know that guy is a cool guy. That's cool. I passed the vibe check. And sometimes that will actually help with the sale. But even then, I don't really, at that point, I don't care if it helps with the sale or not because it's just, kid thought I was cool. But sometimes you get like terrible experiences. Like obviously, the guy who tried to like one thing I kind of hate is that like obviously when people of my persuasion come to the store, obviously there is always going to be this stigma that you are being profiled, but we're told at my job, so to speak, to service the customer, like let them know, hey, if you need any help, let me know, yada yada yada. So that's what I would have to do. I would always go to a customer. Hey, do you need any help? Is there anything specific that you're looking for? And I did that with these. There was these younger, I don't know, paid like between 19 and 25 year olds. I'm gonna say college student age, which oddly enough I can't say because college students can be like 50 now, or they always were 50. We just never really acknowledged them because we think of school and we think we think of young people. But there was these 19 to 25 year olds. I don't know if they were of that, but it was like two of them. And I'm going over to them and I'm like, hey, you guys need any help with anything? And the girl just goes like this. And So I ask again, is there anything specific that you guys need? No, no, go. And the first thing that went through my mind was that, like, I'm trying my best to just, I'm a professional, I'm at my job. I've also have a history of being abused. So it's like, this didn't really necessarily hurt my feelings. I wasn't going to be like, oh, hell no, you didn't. No, it's like, I've been abused my entire life. I've been bullied. I've been pushed around. Stuff like this doesn't really, like, upset me. Especially, and also, I'm at work. I'm at a place where I get my money. I'm not about to lose my job because some kid got snotty with me. But it did kind of frustrate me a little bit when the other girl was like, "Did you really just do that?" And the girl was like, "He works here. He don't matter." And the first thing that went through my mind is, I know in my brain I have to believe that she's joking, but I also know that people are unnecessarily cruel nowadays. So she probably isn't joking. You know what I mean? So I was just like, I just went on about my day, but it really did kind of bum me out because the other kid was like showing empathy, and it was like, yeah, he works here, he doesn't matter. Like, the thing that bothers me about that statement is that, like, even if she is joking, in what planet would that be funny? But if she is, if she is joking, what planet is that funny? But also, if she isn't joking, part of me is always going to go back to this. I need somebody to answer this question, and I'm going to keep asking this question until it gets answered. What is the use and what is the benefit of the class system? What is this idea or this belief? Like, what is the good or this belief of this idea that because you view somebody, like, viewing somebody as less than you? Like, where's the good in that? Like, I understand, like, I feel like this is a concept you're supposed to outgrow at some point. Because when you're a kid, you're taught that there aren't necessarily levels of people as much as there are just roles that people play in life. And a role that you play in life is not necessarily determine what level you are on. And if you're viewed as a lower person, you shouldn't treat anybody that way just because you think that you are higher than them. Because there's no benefit to doing that. I just don't understand hierarchy system. The hierarchy system is so weird. It's enforced by people who can't even tell you the benefits of having it. Like, if you can't explain the benefit of something, then there is no benefit. Get rid of it. It's just that simple. If the absence of something is the benefit of it, then make sure it's always absent. It's kind of like when people say, it's kind of like being on fire, right? Which one's, it's like, what's the use of being on fire, right? Like, if the good thing about being on fire is not being on fire anymore, then being on fire is not beneficial. Stuff like that, If the absence of something is the benefit of it, then make sure it's always absent. If you can't explain to me how the class system is beneficial, then there is no benefit to the class system. Get rid of the class system. When I was a kid, I used to watch cartoons about. I used to watch like the Merry Melodies cartoons, the Looney Tunes. I think his name was something Fleischer or something like that. Like Tex Avery, stuff like that. Those little silly little cartoons. And the reason why I used to watch those was not because LOL, funny color. It's like LOL, bright colors, funny, funny movements, loud noises. It wasn't that. It was that, like, I like this idea of humanity being parodied in such a way that it just felt unrealistic even by normal people's standards. To put this in perspective, like, I like the idea of, like, for example, characters being drawn to look similar to, like, characters so that they look similar to humans, but they look different. Like, if you saw a person who looked like this in real life, you would be like, that person looks weird, they don't look human. But if you look at a whole bunch of characters being drawn like this on television, you're like, oh, that's a standard, yada, yada, yada. It's like anime or whatever. And the reason why I watched this is because there was one thing that always stood out to me, because these are old cartoons. I was watching these cartoons back in the 90s, and I'm old. And you would watch these, and, like, there was one thing in particular that stood out to me. Homeless people. It would be like, there's always like a homeless guy sitting in front of a store, sitting in front of a gas station or something like that, going, spare some change, or they'll have a "we'll work for food" sign, or they'll be shaking a cup or something. Like, they'll just be looking the most disheveled that they ever had. They'll have like a patchy shirt or whatever. And like, the whole thing is that, like, there will always be, and the whole thing was, you'll have somebody be like, get a job, you bum. You know what I mean? And that was the common reaction to homeless people and poor people in these old school cartoons. They'll be like, "Get a job." And the whole idea was that like that homeless person would disappear from the scene and they would probably never get referred to again, right? That was the whole joke. The joke was spare some change, get a job, end the scene. And it was so common that I remember growing up and thinking that that was only a cartoon thing, and oh, it's just a joke in a cartoon. Until I started seeing people say it in real life, often. Once again, grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Louisiana is a red state, chock full of conservatives and chock full of Republicans, and people who have basically incorporated into my psyche that getting a job is the answer to all your problems. Once again, getting a job, any kind of job. So if you had a job, you're good. So I remember being like 15, 16 years old, just saying to myself, yeah, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to get a job. I was a kid. I was still in school. I was still in school, and I wasn't really on the verge of like just graduating that next year or anything like that. But I just remember saying to myself, yes, I am ready to get a job, because if I get a job, that's the answer to all of my problems. I'm going to make some money and do what I need to do in order to maintain and get stuff ready. I got my first job at 16 years old, and I was working at Wendy's. And I was working at Wendy's, but I never worked a job before, and I wasn't good at this job. I would have rather been at register, but because of how I looked or because of whatever circumstances was available at the time, they was just saying, okay, you have to cook. And I was a 16-year-old kid, never did this before, and I was only there for like a week. I said to myself, I'm gonna get my first check from here. I'm gonna get my first check from here, and I got my first check, and I didn't know anything about taxes. I didn't know anything about like them taking money. I remember just thinking to myself, I'm gonna work these hours. I'm gonna do what I need to do, and then I'm going to get my check. Step one is out the way. I got my first check, and it had to have been. This is, by the way, from 2 weeks. It was either 160 or 150 because I got taxes taken away, and I just remember my heart sank, bro. This was like in 2000 and this was like in 2000 and something. So it was like I think I actually have videos from Wendy's. No. My earliest videos from where I was working at was McDonald's. But the idea is that like I remember seeing that and my heart just sinking into my chest. And I told myself, okay, my next check is going to be bigger, because I thought that taxes was this finite number. And that one was also relatively small. It was less than $200. And this was like I said, early 2000s. The minimum wage back then was like $5 an hour. And I was getting that much. And I just remember just thinking to myself, this is the most soul crushing thing. It's like I devoted so much time into this, and this is all I got back. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna start saving. And then, once I started earning money, that was the moment I realized exactly how expensive everything was. I remember, especially because we was living in, my family was poor. We were poor people. So, my mom, I don't know if any other kid has ever went through this, but my mom realized I had a job, I was having an income, I was earning money, and my mom made it very clear, if you're going to live here, you're going to pay a fee. You're going to pay. You're not going to live here for free, you're going to pay a fee. So through grit teeth and just sheer pain and sadness and anger, here you go, Mom. I would give Mom at least a good, I don't know, 3/4 of my check, and I would just be left with nothing. I couldn't buy anything because I think I would only have because I was trying my best to save up money, so I always wanted to put money into savings, and I was heartbroken. My first job. Your first job, you know, the white kids on TV made you think that your first job was going to be like this awesome experience where, you're going to get your first paycheck and be able to buy some stuff with it, and you had the freedom to do it. And that's not what it was for me. My first job will always be like that. I also didn't even last in my first month. I want to say I quit after I got my second check because I was, like I said, it was a job that I didn't want. a job that I wasn't good at, and it was a job that I didn't want, a job that I wasn't good at, and I just remember just being so heartbroken because like it was one of those moments where I realized life is not like what TV was, or rather, life is more of what the cartoons were than what the TV show was. Because all the TV shows that was directed towards kids my age had kids who was doing these extraordinary things and going these extraordinary places and having great things happen to them. Their worst life experience was them encountering a bully at school that would ultimately become their friend afterwards. Whereas I would encounter a bully in school and that bully would just go on to bully me for the rest of the time that I was in school. And it was like, at least the cartoons made fun of this and made it like, instead of them trying to gloss over like crappy issues and make it seem like something was gonna work out at the end. Cartoons basically like they lean into, hey, things are crappy, but at least we're gonna make it funny. Now I think that's kind of what my escape was at the time. The reason why I'm bringing all that up is because I can easily say, after years of working a job, after years of working, I can easily say I like my job. I mean, I kind of have to because I can't get anything better right now. I can't really get a better job. I've been trying, and I keep getting told, we'll call you. Wait for our call. We'll call you. We'll call you. We'll call you. You know what I mean? And I call them up, and they'll be like, yeah, wait for our call. We'll call you. It's very soul crushing to know that, like, the reason why, first of all of my problems are financial, and the answers to my financial problems is me getting a better job that the better job holders just don't want me to have right now for reasons that I'm just never going to know. So it's just like, so I have to like my job that I currently have because it's the only job I can get. Any other job that I can get is going to be a lower earning job. I live literally within walking distance of like 3 places I can work at. One of them is family owned, so I'm not getting that job. Now another one is paying $9 an hour. That's about $400. That's a $400 check. I need $700 to live here. And the other one, once also $9, what is it, like $9.25 an hour? Once again, I need $700 just to live here. I would literally have to work an entire month just to pay for rent here. And that's not encountering all of the other expenses I have to pay. Do y'all kind of understand what I'm saying? So I have to like my job. So I do like my job. I also like my job because I like my coworkers. My coworkers are really nice people who are willing to help me out when I was in my worst situations. Like I said, if not for them, I wouldn't have had some of the clothes that I needed to work because, once again, couldn't afford the clothes because all of my bills. But they've actually helped me out in some of my worst situations, and I can't thank them enough for it. But it is very much known. Like, I love my job, but I don't like working. And I am sick of working. I am tired of working. And I really hate the fact that there are these articles on the internet just basically saying, yeah, like, if you don't want to work, you don't have to work. Yes, I do. You guys don't know what it's like to be poor. Like, if I don't work, I'm literally not going to have a car. If I don't have a car, I may as well be homeless anyway. You see what I mean? Like, everything I'm trying my best to do right now, like, I'm literally one car accident away from being homeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all it takes. If I lose my car, I lose my way of life. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you don't, you don't have to work if you don't want to. There's way too many of these empowering, it's this out of touch attempts to try to be empowering. Like, you're the leader of your own destiny. You can do whatever you want in life if you really want to. You just need to stop limiting yourself, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you've never been poor before to a point where you actually have to do everything yourself. I don't have anyone to lean on. I don't have everything I'm doing on my own. You're probably saying to yourself, well, why don't you just ask for help? No. Because if I ask for help, then I owe other people. No, I'm not trying to owe anybody. If I'm going to suffer, I'm not trying to owe other people. I'm already in a financial pit. The last thing I need is to be in a deeper financial pit with somebody that I care about. Man, I really hate the fact that Bell's palsy screwed up my lip. I don't know if you can see it, but like this part of my lip, normal. This part of my lip, just skewered to the side. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to have that fixed. I'm just going to be weird lips forever. Sorry if this video is a little long. I just feeling ranty. And yeah, that's what I'm saying though. But I'm tired of working. I am, in fact, very tired of working. And I'm tired of working a job that, like, you know, I'm tired of working jobs that I'm not good at, that I'm not comfortable with doing. Like, me and my mom had a heart-to-heart, like, a couple days ago. And my mom told me that I should be, like, a counselor, a psychologist, or a therapist. I don't mind talking to people, but I have to have a degree for that. I got to have a degree just to talk to people like how I talk to them normally. Because, well, you need the certifications to know everything. Bro, that degree costs so much money that I just literally can't afford because I work a job with this and I got all these bills. Literally every issue that I have is financial. It always goes back to financial issues. And the only reason why I'm not like succeeding financially is because the higher up jobs don't want me. Why? Because I don't, it's like, it feels like there's a paywall to earn more money. The irony of it all. I would love to be a counselor though. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I would totally love to be like a psychologist. I like to think that I'm a pretty good listener. Watch, this is me listening right now. I can do that for like the rest of the video, but that would be redundant. You don't want to just watch me do this for a couple minutes. I'm just saying. But like, I've also have experience being abused, bullied, overlooked, mistreated, picked on, black, male. You know, I'm an avid, like, you know, I am an ally to the LGBTQ community. You can only imagine how much hate I get just for that. You know, I want to be a professional wrestler. I'm also in my 30s and poor, and I have feelings of depression and all these things. I'm currently undergoing things that most people are going through. I would love to just be able to be a psychologist and a psychiatrist, because while I lack in actually wanting to give people advice, I just give people a listening ear and just ask them, how does that make you feel? Yes, because that's all it is. And some people need to talk about their feelings and go deeper into who they are. And my mom told me about that. A lot of people told me about that. I should be a guidance counselor. I would totally do that if I had the money to be able to afford the certifications to be able to do that with. But I also want to be a pro wrestler because I'm good at that shit. You thought I was about to cuss, didn't you? I don't cuss. I try my best not to anyway, because first of all, I don't want the idea of being demonetized, but also because I like to think that I'm smart enough to think of other words besides it. But I am good at professional wrestling. It's one of the few things that I've been passionate about my whole life. Like, not my whole life, but a long time. A really long time. Like, I can't stress enough. And now I have more reasons to do it. You know what I mean? So it does feel like I definitely do feel like I need to prove that I can at least do this. I've been chasing this dream since I was very young. And due to financial problems, I'm not there yet. But now at this point, if I could just have one match, I know that I've done things. I know that I've accomplished my goal. I don't even care about, like, I don't want to highlight WrestleMania after winning the Royal Rumble, getting on the top rope, winning the World Championship. I did it! Yes! I just want to be able to have one match and say that I've accomplished something that I've been trying to do since I was a kid. That was it. That's it. But it's like, the fact of the matter is that I don't think y'all don't know how much it costs to be a professional wrestler. Just like how a lot of people don't know how much it costs to do practically anything that you want to do. It's very frustrating to know that there's so many people out there that is like I said, you know, you're the leader of your own destiny. If you want to do something, you just do it because you are awesome and you can do whatever you want to do. But these are coming from people who have been like born rich and born successful their entire lives, and they could literally just like walk into a building and just be like, hey guys, can I work here? And some people will be like, sure, pal. I go into a building and I say, hey guys, can I work here? They're gonna be like, well, all our positions are filled up, and you know, you're gonna have to, I mean, you can still apply, but I mean, you know, like, it's not like, and the worst part is that, like, y'all ever notice how there are jobs out there that are just like ridiculous. Like, there's people out there who test mattresses. You're literally getting paid to sleep. No, actually, they go lay down on the mattresses and then they review them and talk about how it feels. And you have to know, you have to understand that, bro. You get paid to sleep on mattresses, dog. You get paid to sleep on mattresses. Anybody can do that job. And when I say anybody can do that job, I mean anybody who is capable of sleeping can do that job. I went to sleep earlier today. But you'll be surprised how hard it is to get jobs like that. You know, because there's a paywall. Well, you have to have this degree and you got to have this thing and all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. Scoops. And yet, there are people who are famous and rich and successful for doing the bare minimum, if not anything. And these people are trying to tell you that you don't work hard enough to be able to do anything. You need to work harder. Elon Musk just got done talking about people have to live within their means. He's the richest dude in the world. Like, I can't stress this enough, and I know this is going to probably ruffle some feathers, and once again, I'm sorry for how long this video is, but specifically rich guys, I want to say rich white guys, but I can't stress this enough. This is just a rich guy concept in general. But I will point out rich white guys in particular because they're the ones who own the businesses and stuff like that. But rich white guys are just terrible at like business, okay? Like, these people are born with money. Some of these people are born into rich families and born into success. They don't know what it's like. You know, if you judge a business not by how much money it earns, but by the conditions of the people who work for them. And I'm talking about the lowest level. You should judge everything by how good the lowest level is doing. In other words, if the lowest level is not doing that great, the company in itself is not doing great. Okay, that's the point. And I worked for a few Fortune 500 companies. I've worked for Walmart. I worked for McDonald's. I've worked for I want to say, is Wendy's a Fortune 500 company? But the fact of the matter is, I've worked for a few Fortune 500 companies. I've worked alongside my fellow workers, and times are not great for us, especially back then. I've been working since the early 2000s, and I've been working today, and I have rubbed elbows with quite possibly people who are just the epitome of normal, and their lives are kind of crappy. I knew one guy, this will always bring my brain up a little bit. He was an electrician with a degree in mechanical engineering, and he was working Wendy's with me because that was a job that he was trying to get, but I'm guessing, you know, it's still pretty racist in Louisiana, so he couldn't get the job because the guy that they wanted to hire was applied, and like I said, it was just like, we're gonna go with a completely different option. I'm sorry. So he didn't get the job, and because he didn't get the job, apparently he was trying to get like he was in the process. He was working at Wendy's with me. No, not Wendy's. He was working at Popeyes with me while he was trying to get like these mechanical engineering jobs, and you know, they was just waiting for him to call him up. Like I'm pretty sure he has a mechanical engineering job now, but this was like, once again, like early 2000s. So, but the fact of the matter is that like he has a mechanical engineering job, and he's working at Popeyes with me, some kid who's currently old now, by the way. But that's what I'm saying, though, y'all. That will always sort of speak to me because the guy at the top doesn't know anything about this, and yet he's making all the money. I can assure you, a business CEO could not work at the stores that they work at, that they're at. And I kind of need to see Undercover Boss in order to know about that a little bit. But this video is taking a little bit too long. I will probably do a part 2 to this. I don't know, but just know I'm doing all this while depressed. So if I sound ranty or rambly, yeah, this is why. Love and peace. Give somebody a hug. Treat people kindly. Mainstream, like being mean is mainstream. Be punk rock instead. because being kind is punk rock now. But we'll talk again. All right. Once again, though, love and peace, always.